Okay, so today from today now on, so I am starting the teaching about the 7-point of the mind training. So in case if you have not got the root text of the 7-point of the mind training, so you can subscribe that. So that's mainly the 7-point of the mind training is written by one of the Kadamba great master called Chekawa. So this was written some around quite long back. So that may be around 800-900 years back. So that is a very old text. And one other thing is that the very important thing is that you have to know that the tradition of the mind training tradition, actually the mind training tradition was established by the great master Atisha. The great master Atisha, when he came from India to the Tibet, so that time he have established that mind training the tradition. So mind training tradition. So that will be around the 10th to 11th century, around 10th, 11th century, when he came from India to Tibet. Then he have established the mind training the tradition. So his tradition mainly focus on the training our mind. More we can say transforming our way of the thinking, transforming the negative emotion into the positive emotion. So that is the main purpose of the mind training tradition. So now in the way how we have to transform or how we have to train our mind. So they are the 7-point of the mind training. So as I announced before, when you started to learn the 7-point of the mind training, at least you have to spend the 5 to 15 minutes daily meditating or practicing the 5 to 15 minutes daily for 3 months. 3 months, that what you have to do. So now the 5 to 15 minutes. So 5 to 15 minutes. So most important thing is that when I teach the 7 points of the mind training, at least you have to spend the 5 to 15 minutes on the steps. That's what I teach. So now in this 5 to 15 minutes, what most important thing is the 5 to 15 minutes before the practicing, you should generate the strong motivation to train your mind. In this 3 months, you have to generate the motivation to transform your negative emotion into the positive emotion. Okay, so that you need that kind of the motivation. Okay, now now you look at the 7-point of the mind training, the root test. Now here the first point of the mind training is, as you can see in the root test, it said that the first train in the preliminaries. train in the preliminaries. The first step of the mind training is you have to train in the preliminary practices. So now what is the preliminary practice? So preliminary practice is that you have to understand impermanent. You have to practice or meditate regarding about impermanence. So that is the very important one point, because in our life, what happens is that whenever we lose someone, it really hurt us really loud. When you lose your friend or the whatever, the relations or the whatever, when we lose it, it really hurt us very much. Sometimes that we feel very difficult to overcome those feeling of the losing the someone or losing the things. Why that feeling hurt us so much? Because we didn't understand the impermanence properly. Because we think that everything is permanent. When you have something, you will feel that you will have that things whole your life. When you have someone very close to you, you will feel or you will think consciously or the subconsciously or unconsciously that you will think that you will have that person whole your life. So when you lose someone, it makes you very difficult to accept that you have lost that. So once you cannot accept it, so that's why it makes very difficult for you when you lose someone. You will feel very much hurt. So when you understand the impermanence, it won't hurt that much. When you lose someone, you will not hurt that much if you understand the impermanence. So that is the first benefit of the understanding the impermanence. Second thing is that sometimes when you have an issue in your life, sometimes when you have a challenge in your life, sometimes you will lose confidence. Sometimes you will lose the hope. You will lose the hope because you are not knowing that your all the issue, your all problems are the impermanence. Impermanence means it will not remain in your life forever. It will change. So now you look back into your life. When you look back in your life, you overcome in the lots of the problem in your life. You have succeeded. You have overcoming the lots of the problems in your life. So it shows that when you can understand the impermanence of your issue, understand the impermanence of the challenges in your life, then you can generate the more hope, more confidence. Because the problems what we are having right now, it is not the permanent. That means it will change. It will change means we can overcome it. All these problems, we can overcome it. So these problems not a permanent. So that is the second benefit of the understanding the impermanence. Third benefit of the impermanence is that looking at ourselves, we will not remain in this world forever. We are impermanent. One day we will die. That is sure. Sooner or later we will die. So we are going to die. It does not mean that we have to feel scared of the death. I'm not saying that. getting a fear, scared, getting a fear of the death, it is not that useful. So what we have to do is that the knowing that we are going to die, what we have to do is that we had to think very carefully what we should do before we die. What the good thing we can do and what we should do. I always used to say the one thing that we are not born to just to pay all those bills and die. We are not born to pay all those bills and die. We are human. We have the human life. So before we die, we can do a lot of the good things for the others. That we have to think. Sometimes we might think that we might have a lot of time. Yeah, one point we might have a lot of time, but the one thing is that we are also running out of the time. We have a limited time to live in this world. Every minute we are losing the time. So we have to think. We have to think that what we can do good for the others. What we can do the good for the others. So, and that kind of the attitude will helps you to live. Your attitude helps you to live more peaceful and to live more happily. So bottom line is that you have to think, live for the others, live for the others. So these are the importance of the understanding the impermanence. Okay, so these are the points. So that's why here it says the first point of the mind training is the train in the preliminaries. The train in the preliminary means the training in the preliminary practice. The preliminary practice, the impermanent. So now what you have to do is that you have to meditate regarding about the impermanence. The meditating regarding of the impermanence, what you have to do is you just have to close your eye, and what you have to do is you have to think that all of the whatever the issue, all of the problems, what you are having, just think that these all are the impermanence. It will not remain forever. I will overcome it. So that you have to tell yourself again and again and again and again. So when you start with the practicing the mind training, the most important thing is that you have to try your best to train the mind. Try your best to overcome the destructive emotions. So for that, the first step, what you have to do is that the things or look into your issues and the problems, all that problems, and you have to remind yourself that these all issues and the problems are the impermanent, not remain there forever. So I can overcome it. So that is the one thing. Okay, you have to do the one thing. Now the second practice is that what you have to do, so you have to look into yourself, and you have to remind yourself that you have a limited time to live. Maybe 10 years, 20 or 30 or 40 years, but we have limited time. So before you die, you just think that what good thing you can do, what good thing you can do for the others. So you have to determine that you will live to do, you will live for do the good things for the others. You have to remind yourself that you will live for the do the good things for the other. So that the second practice, okay, you have to do. So you have to close your eyes and this in the 5 to 15 minutes daily for 1 week. Now you have to practice the impermanence, okay? Impermanent is more like an analytical meditation. Analytical meditation means you don't have to focus on the one single point. It is more like you have to think and think and more the positive sides, okay? 5 to 15 minutes more, you look some more positive side, think more positive things, okay? So now one other thing of the meditating the impermanent is that, so when you lose someone very close to you in your life, so think that these are the impermanence, try to accept it. Impermanence, not only you are losing the close one, everyone in this world, every human in this world, they have lost, everyone lost someone very close to them, everyone. So you just try to accept it. Accepting is the one of the best way to overcome this, the feelings which you are get hurt, like especially like the destructive emotions. So that's why what you have to do is that you have tried to accept it. Accept that when you lost someone in your life, just think that everything is impermanence. So you just try to accept that, okay? Okay, so so that's why today I will stop here. For now, the 1 week, you just, what you have to do is that you just meditate or think regarding about the impermanence for 5 to 15 minutes for the 1 week, okay? For the 1 week. So that is the first point, okay? First point of the 7 point of the mind training, that it's saying the training, the preliminary practices, okay? Okay, thank you so much, okay? Thank you.